I'm all the time telling people this is something which I have in my backhand, which I'm going to sell to Hollywood. This is my love story with my Swiss wife, because that was really a romantic, a dramatic thing. And we met in 1986 and fell in love 88 and got married 2 days after the fall of the wall in Berlin. So we got married on 11th November 1989. And then the regime collapsed, as the so-called Velvet Revolution started. And I came to Switzerland after spending 41 days with my wife in 3 years. And that was those days when you have to sleep in front of the German embassy on the floor to get a visa to Germany. Those days when the Eastern Germans has been fleeing in the West German embassy in Prague, and the Prague was full of Trabants, and we helped the people, brought them, warm water and baby powder and diapers, because they've been 5,000 people stuck in the garden of the Western Germany embassy in Prague. Those days when you could smell the freedom already. So it was amazing.
Before we dive into today's episode, please hit that subscribe button. Your support helps us grow and inspire more people on their journeys. Thank you. Hello, Vaclav. Thank you for joining us today and welcome to the show.
It's a big pleasure being here. Thank you, Tomáš.
So, Vaclav, for those who don't know you, can you please introduce yourself?
So my name is Vaclav Sulista, and not Vaclav and not Vaclav, as some people would pronounce it. And I'm collecting all those mispronunciation and making jokes about that. So for the British people, most of them don't know that it's the Wenceslas, which is the pretty famous Christmas carol, good old King Wenceslav. So the Czech variation of it is Václav. I'm born and raised in Czechia, studied chemistry in Prague, and I came to Switzerland in 1990, and so to live with my Swiss wife. So this is the very, very short introduction of myself.
Mm-hmm. And that's also a reason why this episode is special to me, because we both come from Czechia, although we both now live in different countries. But just to provide a bit of context, that's why this episode is more special than the other ones.
Yeah.
And Václav, as you said, you moved from Czechia to Switzerland. I'm sure that there is a long and exciting journey, but maybe briefly, what was the reason, or why did you actually move to Switzerland?
I'm all the time telling people this is something which I have in my backhand, which I'm going to sell to Hollywood. This is my love story with my Swiss wife, because that was really a romantic, a dramatic thing. And we met in 1986. Fell in love 88 and got married 2 days after the fall of the wall in Berlin. So we got married on 11th November 1989. And then the regime collapsed, as the so-called Velvet Revolution started. And I came to Switzerland after spending 41 days with my wife in 3 years. So, and that was those days when the people have been, you have to sleep in front of the German embassy on the floor to get a visa to Germany. Those days when the Eastern Germans has been fleeing in the West German embassy in Prague, and the Prague was full of Trabants, and we helped the people, brought them, warm water and baby powder and diapers, because they've been 5,000 people stuck in the garden of the Western Germany embassy in Prague. Those days when you could smell the freedom already. So it was amazing. So this is a love story based on the turmoil in Central and Eastern Europe. That would be a good Hollywood movie, because it was really a romantic drama.
Yeah, if anyone is listening out there, reach out to Václav. Interesting topic for book and adaptation afterwards.
I'm a very, very lazy writer. I would write it down. Maybe I do it once with AI, but now I'm too busy with my own business to do it. But it was really great, and we are still happily together now. We have 3 adult daughters. The youngest, Christina, is my business partner in career consulting, and I have already 2 granddaughters. So I'm a very young and very active grandfather.
And remind us what city you live in Switzerland?
We live in a small city called Esch, which is 10,000 inhabitants, so basically a village, which is Canton Basel country. And 10 minutes by car, you are in Basel city, which is the capital of the area, on the border of France and Germany, and center of the pharmaceutical industry. And that's the reason I am here, because I got a job offer in 1996 to be a quality assurance head in a startup. And that was the reason we moved here.
Mm-hmm. And actually, out of curiosity, has it been your dream or goal to work in this industry since you were young?
No. Funny enough, I ended up with natural sciences by accident. So my parents sent me to a specific grammar school focusing on languages. So I started to learn Russian, English, and German pretty early. So at the age of 14, I spoke Russian, German, and English. But then the communists decided this is all nonsense, these humanistic schools, and they closed all these humanistic high schools.
Oh,
That was the reason I had to start in natural science high school. And chemistry was something I didn't enjoy specifically very much, but I have a good exams. So at the end, when you stand, in front of a choice going for 2 years into military service as an infanterist or studying chemistry was the smaller evil. So that was the reason I studied chemistry, and we have been a very, very strong class. So people like Jan Konvalinka, the director of Institute of Organic Chemistry and Biochemistry, was my peer. And those people came all the time excited from the lab. We did this and that. And they spent weekends working in the lab. And I spent weekends going home to my hometown, Budweis, or stuff like that. So I managed somehow to go through the studies, but I was really never a good chemist. So
yeah. And I was actually about to ask you also about the language, because as you moved to Switzerland, but you answered it that you've been studying different languages since you've been young. So it was, I guess, easy for you.
It was pretty easy because I came to Switzerland at the age of 27 with perfect neat school high German. So, and then it took me like 3 weeks to understand Swiss German, which is pretty easy in St. Gallen because the dialect is not that difficult in Eastern Switzerland. And after 3 years, people starting to asking me if I am Swiss person from Canton Wallis. Because in Canton Wallis, the people talk in a very, very weird way, which means this is like my South Bohemian thing combined with my Eastern dialect of my Swiss wife made this bastard, and people thought I'm from Canton Wallis. So after 3 years, people thought I'm a Swiss person, which is pretty cool.
Out of curiosity, how many languages do you speak now?
So fluently German, Swiss German, Czech, Slovak, then pretty good Russian still, because this is something what we have been learning since the 3rd class of the primary school. And some French, some Italian, some Spanish. I can do small talk in Mandarin.
Oh my.
Know some Turkish, some Hindi. I'm a big fan of learning languages, and I'm pretty gifted in that. So yeah. But I can introduce myself pretty well in Mandarin, but then Chinese think, okay, I can talk perfectly. And they start to talk to me and I'm completely lost because I don't understand them. Stop slowly, please. Yeah.
I was expecting many languages, but it was even more than I thought. So I think actually something, because I used to like studying languages as well. What's like your favorite way, or how do you learn new languages so easily?
I am the classic mosaic learner. And I don't like grammar. So if you push me to learn grammatics first, I'm lost. I hate this completely. I was never able to do it properly in German, but I was talking so much that I felt what is the right way in the end. So, and this is the reason why I like Mandarin that much, because Mandarin is straightforward, everything in infinitive, genitive. There is no declination, conjugation, nothing. So it's like a beats on the line, and it's so... If you say, for example, I love to drink French red wine, the Chinese says organized country, which is France, organization country, Fa Guo. Red Hong, Putao are grapes, Xiao is alcohol, very good drink. So that's the way you say, I love to drink red wine. So organization country, grapes, alcohol, red grapes, alcohol, very good drink. And this is very, very easy. So from this, Chinese looks very, very difficult if you look at it for the first time. But if you have the ability to hear the tone differences and be able to reproduce them, then it's easier than you think. Writing is a different story, but talking and understanding is not that difficult. But if it comes to, for example, to Cantonese, when they have 8 tones, I don't hear anything. I'm lost completely. But the 4 of Mandarin, I can do pretty well.
I mean, it's still very impressive. And then is there language that you still want to learn, or maybe that you are learning?
I am now learning Spanish because I understand Spanish passively very well, but we are going to vacation to Dominican Republic this summer. And that's why I would like to improve a little bit.
That's a good motivation.
Yes, it is. It is. And I have a good app on my mobile phone, Talkpal, which is an AI-driven And this is really very, very good. This is amazingly done. It's fun to learn. So, but I leave it to the last moment. Probably my wife is learning already now, and I will start somewhere in June, and then I will talk better than her.
And then I'm really curious. You mentioned before that you've got daughters and even grandchildren. Do they speak Czech?
No. So I have 3 daughters. The big daughter I adopted. So she was 5 years old when we met, and the granddaughters, they understand, the typical Czech characters, křemílek, vochomůrka, and those, the krtek and all those names of the animals they can say. My own 2 daughters, they speak Czech on a level of a first grader with grammatical errors. But if we are together in Czechia and they have no one else talking Swiss German or any other language, after 1 week, they start to talk. And I'm pretty confident if they would stay there in complete Czech immersion, after 1 month, they will talk very well Swiss accent. So I planted the seeds, and now it's their thing.
Oh yeah, it's smart. And especially those words you mentioned, like křemílek, I know how hard it was for me when I was younger. So it's a tough one to start with, but well done.
I had the same. I couldn't say R and R, and I have to go to logopedy for both S, F, R, and R. Both of those would be difficult, but have a look at Václav Havel. He was not able to say the R as well, and he was president. So.
It's very relatable. I still remember myself. And then Václav, if we go back to your career, I know that you spent many years working in the pharmaceutical industry, but can you walk us through the progression? You said that you started working in a startup, and of course you spent many years there, but just briefly tell us about, what you did, how you enjoyed it, how was it for you?
I started in St. Gallen in eastern Switzerland in a very, very tiny startup, and I had to build up everything from scratch. So we had a building was empty. So I had get some money to purchase all the analytical instruments. And this was for me like the biggest shocker. It wasn't the chemistry, because chemistry is everywhere the same, but it was the behavior on the market, because I was not too used to negotiate prices, for example, with someone. So somebody made me offer, I accepted it, you didn't bargain anything. So I was very naive on that. I had to learn all of this on the go. I was there first as an analytical chemist. Then I moved into pharmaceutical production, learned a lot about how to produce tablets and capsules and granulates and stuff like that. And then I moved on in another company here in Basel area, and we've been packaging clinical trials for Novartis and for Roche, Hoffmann La Roche. And after being 6 years there, then I changed to Novartis when I spent 16 years in different position. And as I told you, I was not such a big fan of chemistry, so I tried to escape as quickly as I could from the wet lab. So I spent maybe the 2 first years as a chemist, and then it was more pharmaceutical engineering and quality systems, setting up quality systems, maintaining quality systems, training people. And then IT implementation of a SAP solution, and then 5 years in supply chain. So basically, I had in the 16 years of Novartis, I think like 6 or 7 different jobs, but that's normal.
You said 16, right?
16 years, yes. I was 16 years with Novartis, and probably 6 different jobs when I left and started my own career consulting then.
Mm-hmm. I would say talking about working in Novartis for the movie when it's happening, but then what was like the moment, if there was a specific moment that made you to leave the company and start something different?
I was 55, and basically I make this move out of total desperation, because I didn't like my job that much. It was for me really a torture on Monday morning again to go back to work, not because I didn't like the team. We had a fantastic team. We had a really good people there, but just the content of the work was so boring. It was just constant number crunching and data analysis. First, I'm not very good at it. And second, we had a very severely sick family member at those days. And I basically couldn't cope with all of this. Then I got a depression. And I decided, okay, I need to change something. I cannot heal my child. But what I can do, I can change my job. So I left the corporate world and started my own business. And that was basically my grandfather who was guiding me from above, because he was entrepreneur, built up the huge textile dealership from scratch, from zero, from the poorest to the poorest, from the biggest textile dealer in the entire region. And he was like my role model. So I say, if grandpa could do it, I can do it myself. And yeah, out of desperation, I started my own business. Yeah, but it worked out very well.
Yeah. Firstly, sorry to hear that, what you said, like behind the reason and why you did it. And when you started then your own business, did you like know what to do, such as some kind of plan B, or was it also just trying randomly some idea
No,
just to kind of
I had already a clean plan B, and this was preparing people for job interviews, because in 2007 we had the amazing course at Novartis interviewing for managers. So how do you to learn all the psychology and emotions of the interviewing process? And I liked it so much that I started to practice this on my own, still as Novartis employee, for free from my colleagues, because there have been many reorganization. Many of my friends has been made redundant. So I told them, hey, let's train it together. I learned the theory. Now we need to practice. You can profit something. I can profit as well. And I was getting very, very quickly amazing feedback from the people that I do it really well, and that it helped them in the process and they get new jobs. And then I registered myself as a corporate volunteer of Novartis and started to work as a mentor of qualified female migrants in Basel. So I all the time I get some, and I'm doing this now for 15 years or so. So you get a qualified female person who cannot find a job, you help them into a job, and then you get the next one. And that's the way. And out of this, I learned different skills, different coaching techniques, and so on, and which build the foundation of the own business.
And how did you, because I can imagine it must have, did you feel like excited again, building something new from scratch? Or I guess it was maybe a challenge at first as well to build a business, or what did you feel like?
I, to be honest, I don't know. It just happened. Wasn't I just, okay, let's start something else. Let's start something new. And I'm an eternal optimist. So I see everything as an opportunity and not as a threat. And if I am anxious about something, I simply suppress the feeling of anxiety. Okay, let's do this. And yeah, it took like 2 years, but then it started to run. And the moment I found on the Honorary Consulate my current digital marketing partner, who showed me how to do the digital marketing right, and from the moment onwards, it came like an avalanche. So that was the reason I could even hire my daughter to be 100% my business partner, and we both can live on it, and the business is growing, so it's good.
Started compounding from there.
So the first idea was preparing people for job interviews, but then I quickly realized that the market is too small. Not everybody is going to the job interview, but almost every person needs a good LinkedIn profile and good LinkedIn presence. And then I, again, by coincidence, and this is funny in my life, the most important things in my life happened by doing something for free.
I guess that's a good message for the audience.
I helped someone from Czechia. I don't know what it was. And he put me into contact with Tom Kent, who is a career consultant. He has Czech roots as well, but grew up in Texas, United States. Amazing career consultant. And he showed me LinkedIn. And since the moment I met Tom, I never saw LinkedIn with the same pair of eyes like before. And yeah, and this was basically a combination of this business acumen, business knowledge from the pharma industry, plus LinkedIn as a tool. This enabled us to grow as Sulista Consulting pretty quickly.
Mm-hmm. And I really like the mindset, always positive, something that I try to adopt myself, although it's not always easy, but important. And just to give us a bit of context, because I always like to ask about the time, such as when you started on LinkedIn, because I think that people often want overnight success and think that it happens just like that. So do you remember, like, roughly what year was it, or how long ago?
So I left Novartis in 2018, and took me like 2 years that I could sort of live out of my business. So it's 2 years of hard work, and I was living on my savings naturally, and I'm forever grateful to my wife, which never pushed me for more. Basically, my wife trusted me and said, you can do this, take your time, and she was not annoying me, you have to make more money or something like that. So it will be probably counterproductive, because I will do into a rebel mode. So I could build it slowly, but it was a lot of work, like everything. You know it on your own, how difficult it is to build a podcast which people are listening to. Yeah, it's a process.
It's everything takes time, and people think that it's, happened somehow overnight, but don't really see like all the hard work and days you've been showing up
Exactly.
before with little to no
Exactly.
results.
Yeah, and this is it. You have to show up consistently. You have to build your brand. And again, many people, and this was probably my biggest advantage, as I was doing already so many things pro bono in the past that I had a decent propaganda army in the back. And many of the people I used to help for free are now my regular paying clients. Because imagine somebody picks you up when you are completely lost, and 3-4 years later you are in a position and would like to do a next career step. To whom are you going to return? The whole pro bono stuff is nothing else an investment into the future. If I would look at it like from the pure egoistic point of view, everything what you do will come back, but it takes time,
Yeah, of course, and you never know. And even if not, to just be nice to people. I mean, why not? We need to be positive and be nice to others, right?
This is it, definitely. And I'm raised like this. This is the background of my Roman Catholic upbringing, when we have to suffer a lot in the old communist days because of that. We have been ridiculed and we had problems. That was the reason I couldn't study languages, because with my profile of Roman Catholic former bourgeoisie, and what was even worse, we have uncle in South Africa, which was like the absolutely no-go to have a relative in this regime. So that was the reason I had to pick chemistry. People cannot imagine something like that. You basically, I would like to study this, I go and study it, forget it. We had at the 80s, I started to study in 1981. And there was a numerus clausus almost everywhere. And with my profile, HR profile of those days, my chances to get admitted, for example, to study languages has been almost zero.
Yeah, I was lucky to be born after the regime that we discussed, but I would encourage people or if anyone is interested, check out something about the history, because it's interesting and obviously sad what happened in our country before.
Yeah, but still, again, we have to put it into relation. In communist China or Soviet Union, probably my family would be terminated and dead, we could sort of survive.
Yeah.
And this is still the positive side of the thing, because for sure, if you look at cultural revolution in China, where hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people has been killed because they had a small business in the past. Yeah. So this would be our fate as well. So the regime in Czechoslovakia was shit, but this was still not so bad as in Stalin's Soviet Union or Mao's China, to bring it into relations.
Mm-hmm. Quick one before we get back to it. If you like this kind of conversation, I've started sharing short videos on YouTube where I break down what I've learned from more than 150 episodes. Content, podcasting, personal brand. No fluff, just what actually works. Just search produced by on YouTube. Or don't. And keep figuring out the hard way. And if we move to discuss your business, Václav, there are many people on LinkedIn that focus on branding and stuff like that. But can you introduce us your business, what you focus on, what makes you different than others?
So we are clearly focusing on pharma and supply chain and combination of both. So our typical client is either a person who would like to move from academia to the pharmaceutical industry. So somebody who finished master or PhD or a postdoc and would like to make the transfer into the pharmaceutical industry. Mostly those people, the younger people, are being managed by my daughter. And I am working more with senior leaders, people over 50, who are either searching for a new step in their career or have been made redundant and searching for a new job. And so this is our clear focus. And in the beginning, I had the feeling I need to embrace the whole world and help everyone, and everybody is a potential client. And then my digital marketing partner, Patrick Doja, told me, Václav, the better the focus, the better the results. Today, if you put Pharma Job Switzerland into Google, you find me.
You maybe answer it now, but I was about to ask you if you focus on the clients actually from Switzerland or like Europe or even global?
Global. So we had already clients from the whole world. So we helped people from Australia to get a job in Switzerland. We helped even entrepreneurs in Africa to build their business. So we had clients from South America, Canada, US, you name it. But naturally, the biggest part of the clients are people who are EU citizen and would like to have a new job in Switzerland or advance their career in Switzerland. This is the typical career. And the gender split, 65% of our customers are women.
Yeah. And I think something I'm curious about is like your advice. I'm sure that you see it on LinkedIn. It's quite a popular topic that people discuss whether you should niche down or not. So firstly, what's your advice on this? How do you see that? And then secondly, maybe advise how to find your niche. Because for you, I guess it was kind of self-explanatory based on your history, but maybe for others?
I think for me, it was pretty easy because you have this background in the pharmaceutical industry, in the pharma development. So I basically cover the entire area from development, from solid dosage forms, ophthalmics, and sterile dosage forms. So basically the basic science from the pharma industry developing drugs, as well as the generic coverage, because I've been working in both areas. So this was very natural to me. And this niching down was basically ignited by discussion with my digital marketing partner who told me, Václav, we have to pick something. You cannot be here for everybody, for everyone. And from the moment onwards, it's really started to work. And clearly we started to invest into Google pay-per-click campaigns. And we could improve them or optimize them in a way that now I'm paying 20% of the stuff I was paying in the beginning and still making the same revenue through Google. So many people are still coming from Google, which I'm surprised because the young generation is searching everything in ChatGPT and Perplexity. But still, ChatGPT recently several times in a row named us the best career consultancy in pharma in Switzerland, which is funny. So several clients have asked who is the best one to get a job in Switzerland, and Sulista Consulting. And I don't know how this works. It works somehow.
Nice.
Probably it's the combination of the many Google reviews plus the strong LinkedIn presence. So yeah, and more people are coming through LinkedIn without having any sales funnel on LinkedIn. I was too lazy to build it up. Maybe complacent because there is enough business going in. So why should you waste time on building LinkedIn sales funnel? Yeah. And many people are finding simply my daughter and myself through the content which we are creating. You have to talk about the pain points of your focus group. And I see it even with the new algorithm. Every time I'm posting something which is not in line with my banner, with my headline, and with my about section, the outreach goes down the drain. So I'm basically hung up by writing about job interviews.
Yeah. About
motivational letters, busting some myths about the workplace. So will be here tomorrow at 3:15. I'm running a LinkedIn Live with Andreas Schulz, hiring manager and recruiter from Bayer. And we will exactly talk about the most popular myth which are on the job market, ATS bulletproof CVs and some other nonsense.
Nonsense, yeah. And it all makes sense to me. And then if there are people who are struggling with finding their niche, have you got any advice how to find it, or what would be like first steps, maybe to niche,
so
not to niche?
What I would do today, 5 years ago, I would tell you, take a piece of paper and write everything what you are good at and what you love to do and where you see potential, create your ikigai, as the Japanese call it, and try doing that. Today, I will ruthlessly go to Claude or to ChatGPT and I will start discussion with the AI because you don't have a better sparring partner than this. So that's the way I would do today. Describe yourself in such a level of detail, as detailed as possible, and the system will provide you for sure with a good advice. That's what I would do now.
That is true, and it's a good point. Then, Václav, curious, as you mentioned it now, how do you use AI? Are you someone who's interested in AI? How do you see the whole, AI boom and development progress and everything?
It's breathtaking. Still, I'm not afraid that AI would take me as a career consultant and destroy me or destroy my business. For me, it's a very, very useful tool. It's an enhancement of my brain, and the combination of, when I just look back 3 years ago, we spent a long time creating perfect about sections of people. Today, my daughter has written like a 2 pages long prompt on ChatGPT. Then we upload the anonymized CV of the person into the tool. 5 seconds, you have a perfect about section done, which has all the code words, perfect structure, looks nice, beautiful. So this is the way what is for me, AI is saving my time, so I'm able to work one-on-one with people. So instead of spending endless hours on polishing CVs and writing motivation letters and so on, and the way I'm using it, I'm using combination of Claude and ChatGPT, using Claude as the writer and ChatGPT as the challenger of the output. Because what I realized that ChatGPT is a little bit deteriorating right now. So I find Claude the better writing engine, but ChatGPT is an amazing critic. So grab output of Claude and get it refined by ChatGPT, but definitely then I never take the output the way it is. I all the time rewrite it to put my voice into it.
Yeah, never forget, don't just copy and paste so that then it sounds...
No, it's everything sounds generic, everything sounds the same. And if you use AI, make sure that they are definitely sentences which you are the only person on earth who can writing it based on your authentic background. I use as well Scribe, written with P, SCRRIPE, which is a specific tool for writing content. And I use it a lot in the past. I'm using it, fun enough, less and less. But I love the tool because it provides a fantastic analytics of your post. You have a beautiful dashboard with what works, what doesn't, and you can scroll up back on LinkedIn 8 years back and you find all your posts without scrolling on LinkedIn like an idiot. And this is really fantastic. So for me, I use this tool not that much for writing, but much more for analytics now.
Yeah, that is smart. I think I've never heard of the tool, so I will, or maybe heard but never tried. So I will make sure to check
really
it out.
worthwhile trying. And what I like the most, that it was developed by 3 ladies. One is from Austria, one from Germany, and one from Switzerland. So this is a typical, as we call it, DACH, DACH region, and young ladies until under 25 who developed the tool, and it's really, really great.
Yeah, sounds good. And Václav, I would regret not asking you, for our audience, what's like your advice or any tips how to grow on LinkedIn? I don't want to say how to go viral, although that's what people often chase, but how to build your brand, because obviously you've got a strong brand, recognizable big name. So any tips, ideas, or recommendations?
First thing, there is no quick fix on LinkedIn. And LinkedIn is a marathon and definitely not a sprint. So if you think you go viral, that something is going to happen, no. And there's all the big gurus, Richard van der Blom and Yasmin Alic claim it. This is all vanity metrics. So my most viral post had like 250,000 views.
250. Oh, wow. That's crazy. Yeah.
One. But it was a 9-second video when I was doing a yoga exercise. So that I'm ADHD brain, and then I showed people this. In Europe, almost no one knows it, the so-called Ganesha squats. So basically grab your earlobes, cross your hands, and doing squats. And
I think I didn't know it, to be honest.
Yeah, and this is amazing exercise because it improves your focus, because it's connecting both brains half. And in India, this is used as a quote-unquote punishment of pupils who are disturbing the class. So they have to come in front of the class, but it's not punishing them. It's basically healing their brains. So and somebody reshared it in India, and then it started like an avalanche. One Novartis colleagues who has 1 million followers reshared it, and then it started, they say that's, well, it's cool, it's so funny, blah, blah, blah. Now, to cut the story short, so you had 250,000 views. How many paying clients out of it? 1.
Oh.
And this is basically the relation. So if you have 1 million of something on LinkedIn, you get maybe 4 inbound leads. This is my experience. So build it step by step, show up consistently. Don't follow every new trend. Like 2 years ago, you have to be on video. If you are on video, you are lost. I don't like videos that much, so I didn't do anything. And maybe I did one. And now the trend is over. So it was like the Facebookization first, then TikTokization, whatever. There is one simple thing: simply add value to the people who are following you. That's it. And for this, I strongly recommend everyone to generate your own newsletter. in your newsletter, you can really go deep. You can show know-how. You can discuss things from different angles. And for me, newsletter is a fantastic tool to get visibility, get new clients, and using it as a storage of everything what I learned on LinkedIn. So newsletter is so simple to set up. And then you basically use LinkedIn as your marketing partner, because LinkedIn will send out your articles written in a newsletter via email to your connections. And important to know, you are talking to a guy who I was sitting in the same chair in a different office 7 years ago, and I was telling, no, content on LinkedIn. No. I'm never going to do content on LinkedIn, and I'm typing only with 2 fingers, and I'm so slow. And my sister is an excellent writer, and I can talk, but I cannot write blah, blah, blah. Who would be interested in this, in my nonsense? And Tom Kent tortured me and told me, Václav, there is no other way. If you would like to be successful on LinkedIn, you need to generate content. And basically he broke my resistance, and I started to grind my knees and my teeth and started to do the first article and then the second. And today I look forward to generating content, and I claimed I would never do content. So give it a chance.
Let's see what happens in the next, how many, 7 years or something like that.
And I'm very happy to have my daughter as a business partner, because Christina sees the world with different pair of eyes. She's 30 years younger than me, and she's picking up the new trends, analyzing the new things, and with her background as a social worker and a lot of empathy, she can manage her clients very well, and she's getting excellent feedback. So we have now the both. She can manage the young guys, I can manage the more senior guys, so it works very well together.
And you are writing a LinkedIn newsletter, but do you have also like outside platforms such as, I don't know, Substack, Beehive or something like that?
No. The only thing I have is the LinkedIn newsletter, and then some LinkedIn posts from time to time. I reduced the amount of posts. I used to post like 4 to 5 times a week. Now I do maybe 3 times a week. And if I'm on vacation, then I maybe do once, just or nothing. And nothing is going to happen. And I am focusing much more on commenting and writing comments which make sense and sort of add value to the community as well. If I don't feel this is something which will be interesting for the people, I simply let it go. When I started to write content on LinkedIn, I used LinkedIn like my private blog. So I put a lot of private stories into it. But the funny thing, people don't care who you are as a private person unless you are proven expert in your area of experience, So it's first add value, show that you have expertise in your area, and then people might be interested in your hobbies, like in my ice hockey goaltending.
That is true. But I think maybe like in the future, with the emergence of AI and often seeing the content that looks a bit soulless or artificial, I think it's maybe going to be a bit more important, or to stand out when people share especially stuff about themselves, to stand out and show that there's actually a real person behind the screen. And
that's for sure, but it shouldn't be only the private part. It's all the time.
Yeah, that is true.
There should be all the time something like underlying business message in it.
And what about some other channels? Have you tried, or are you on any other channels outside of LinkedIn, or focusing on?
I have a YouTube channel which is complete amateur style. I'm using my YouTube channel as a place where I dump all my videos. So if I, for example, do a LinkedIn Live, then I record it on StreamYard, then I upload it on YouTube and keep it there. And then I can send it to my clients. If you would like to have a philosophy of proper networking, here you have the video, and here it goes. And from time to time, I can generate shorts out of the LinkedIn Lives with some, but for me, it's not that important. I got many offers. I would improve your YouTube channel. And
oh God, I get it all the time as well. I'm like,
and if I see, how many people who are much bigger than me with much bigger followership, and that they have like 5 likes on YouTube. So for me, YouTube is a place where I can store my materials, but not more. Maybe I'm seeing it wrong, but
and maybe one day someone will reshare, and you never know when it hits again to 50K followers.
Could be. I was pretty active on Facebook. I used to write on Twitter a lot, or X today. I don't like Instagram. I wouldn't go on Instagram if friends wouldn't tell me funny videos from Instagram. That's the main reason I'm going to Instagram. Somebody sends me something. I refuse to go on TikTok. And so I focus on LinkedIn and that's it. It works very
I think honestly it's better to do quality work on one platform than
Yes.
overstretch everywhere. And
You cannot be everywhere because that's clear. Or you have to hire a team of people, and again, which push you to have much more revenue and so on. And this is a
never-ending cycle.
Exactly. And I don't have to have $1 million when I on my bank account when I die. I would like to make some decent income, maintain decent quality of life, helping a lot of people, because if I put it all together with the honorary consulate, mentoring of qualified migrants here, helping Ukrainian refugees, I work probably 1 day a week for free. And so
no, I was going to say that I feel like that you do already a lot, so I'd be surprised if you still had time or bandwidth to do much more.
No.
And Václav, just to be aware of time, I like to ask kind of lighter questions by the end. So what is it that you like to do in your free time, or what are some of your hobbies?
So my winter hobby is ice hockey goaltending. So I'm a ice hockey goaltender at the veterans team. And it was my childhood dream because I grew up with the hatred message, Soviet Union, Czechoslovakia in the old days. And all the time, our goaltenders made the difference. Vlado Dzurilla and Jiří Holeček, which was my specific hero. So I was a big fan of him. That's why I'm playing with the number 2 on my jersey, like Jiří Holeček had number 2. And this was my childhood dream, which I could never realize. And I was telling my friends, in next life, I will be a professional ice hockey goaltender, until my best Swiss friends told me, Václav, don't wait for the next life. In Laufen, they are searching for a goaltender, go there. So I went for the first training. I couldn't move like 4 days after the first training. And then I started. And so I realized my childhood dream at the age of 46. And now I finished my 16 seasons there.
That's impressive.
This is
never late to start, right?
Exactly. It's never late to start something new. It's never late to learn a language or learn a new skill and so on. For example, on the 5th of February, we had Šimon Hrubec, the champion goaltender from ZSC Lions, and with his father, who is like a guru of the Czech ice hockey goaltending trainers. They gave a training for our youngsters in Laufen. It was fantastic. And they brought the Champions League Cup and the Swiss League Cup with them. And it was that was really fantastic. So this is something which, if I can connect Switzerland and Czechia both together, this makes me very, very happy. So this was one of the occasions. I read a lot about politics.
Sorry, Václav, just before you say that, because there was obviously Winter Olympics, but who do you actually support? A Czech team?
Czechia, for sure. That's
okay, very good.
I came to Switzerland at the age of 27. So, if Czechia is playing Switzerland in ice hockey, it's like 60-40. And the Czechs lose against the Swiss, I'm minimum happy for the Swiss that they won something. But this year it was the typical setup. You have two irons in the fire and both are cold in the end, So that was the typical situation. I can tell you, I cannot watch the ice hockey when the Czechs are playing. I'm so nervous. I'm almost dying in the game. I enjoyed the finals, Canada, US. That was the only game I saw entire. But if the Czechs are playing, I think, when I watch them, I bring them bad luck. And if I watch the online, I give them bad luck and all this type of stuff. So I suffer. I don't watch it. And even worse was tennis. And this is funny. If Roger Federer was playing against Tomáš Berdych, I was cheering for Federer. But if the Czech ladies play against Swiss ladies, I'm almost dying for the Czech ladies. This is sometimes. So you have this mixed up identity, and Roger Federer from our surrounding here, so from the same canton. So that's why I liked him very much as a gentleman of sport. So
no, sorry for interruption. I just wanted to know before you started talking about the books.
No problem.
So what are then some of your favorite ones, the books, if you like to read?
I am now a big fan of Jaroslav Rudiš, which is a Czech author who writes a lot about driving the trains and beer. So
I wasn't expecting that.
So Jaroslav Rudiš, he writes in both languages and Czech in German. So I'm currently reading a novel, and I'm reading a lot of books of facts, a lot of books about history, politics, and stuff like that. For sure, watching the news and.
And are you also into like personal development books?
Funny enough, for a career consultant, not that much. I have few favorites, like Never Split the Difference by Chris Voss, which I recommend every client to read. This is a book which I took a lot. But my time is limited as well. You have your business, you have your family, you have your kids, and I sometimes have 16 clients meetings every day and talking the whole day. So when you come home and I open a book, then I probably fall asleep after 15 minutes, even quicker.
And I know you mentioned it before, but is there actually, do you have it like seed in your mind to actually write a book one day?
Yes, that would be good. This is, but maybe when I reduce my workload, career consulting, maybe then.
Yeah.
And if I don't write it down, nothing is going to happen.
we just be disappointed.
No.
And Václav, do you have like any plans, goals, or anything that you are willing to share with the audience to be kind of excited about, whether it's in upcoming, I don't know, months or years?
Personally, I would like to sustain the business the way it is. And at the moment, no high flyer goals. I define, yes, we are numbers driven people. Yes, I spent many years in supply chain. So I'm setting my goals for the revenue, which I would like to achieve. But when I miss it by 5%, I'm not crying before I go to bed. So I don't set many strict goals. I'm a big fan of daily work, showing up consistently and of tiny steps, and then the success is going to come. So this is my philosophy. I never made huge, like, you have to, dreams. What is a dream? Like being an ice hockey goaltender, it was dream for me. It was completely unrealistic. But when you talk about it a lot, suddenly it happens. And this is something which might sound like esoteric nonsense, but I've seen it in my life several times. For example, I grew up in a flat which was plastered by pictures of Switzerland.
Oh, yeah, I see.
And Switzerland was, for us in those days, so far away. Like if somebody would tell you will be an astronaut and fly with NASA or to the moon, it was like, or actor in Hollywood, absolutely unreachable in those days. And suddenly you fell in love with a Swiss lady and you marry her, you ended up in Switzerland, which is, So maybe there is really something that the power of images and power of
maybe visualization.
Imagination, visualization. And this I use a lot because we all have dark hours. We all have our problems, even if everything looks like a huge success and blah, blah, and career consultant and honorary consul, diplomat, and all of this, and living in Switzerland, perfect life. I have my dark hours as well. And then I use positive affirmations to motivate myself again, calm myself down. We all know it, sleepless nights, it's not...
It's not always sunshine and rainbows.
No. And the more people I see, and there are hundreds of clients, people on the consulate, everything, the more people I know, the more terrible things I see in the background. So we are all suffering human beings, why should we pretend that we are superstars and superheroes? And this is what makes a lot of people angry about LinkedIn. This all, self-promotion, this superficial backpedding of each other and this kind of stuff. This is something which gives LinkedIn a very, very bad image because there are many people doing exactly that.
I try to keep that in mind and remind people as well that you never see the whole picture, that people are going to flex or show you the wins, but you don't know the picture, you know what's the whole story, and you don't know, for example, how many failed attempts are there behind it. So see it as inspiration, but don't compare yourself.
Yeah. And you don't know, how many people lost their loved ones, how many people are struggling with the health of their kids, with their own health. And people mostly don't talk about it and just simply carrying the cross the same way as I do.
I agree. And Václav, can you then summarize or tell people where they can find you, follow you, and also promote any of your services?
So people can easily find us on LinkedIn, and my name is very, very seldom in Switzerland. So we are the only Sulistas in the whole Switzerland, and or sulista.ch, where is my website, where is everything, or our website, where is everything described. I'm fully transparent with the prices, with everything, and everything is published there. So if somebody is interested, take a look.
I will, as always, leave any links in the show notes. And Very last question, Václav, is there anything I should have asked you I did not? Any final message or anything you would like to share with audience before we finish?
No, I think it's good. Thank you so much for being the host here. I enjoyed our talk very much, and yeah, if some interesting other person from Czechia or from Switzerland comes to my mind who might be a good guest for you, I will connect you.
Thank you, Václav. I appreciate it too. As I said, it was a special episode for me. It doesn't happen every time that you get to speak with someone from the same country. So I want to say huge thank you. As I said, amazing chat as well. We'll be happy to catch up anytime in the future again. So díky moc a ať se ti daří. Ještě jednou.
Já taky děkuju. Taky. Ahoj. Čau, čau.
Ahoj. Thanks for listening to Produced by with Tomen. Check the show notes for all the links. And don't forget to subscribe, like, and share your feedback. Speak soon.